The Galactic Academy's advanced problem-solving course was legendary throughout the known systems. Students from dozens of species competed for admission, and those who graduated were virtually guaranteed prestigious positions in interstellar corporations, research institutes, or diplomatic corps. The final examination was equally renowned and feared. Professor Zekthara, a towering Altarian with crystalline skin that refracted light into prismatic patterns, surveyed the examination chamber. 23 students sat at individual stations, representing the intellectual elite of their respective species. Vorthak from the methane worlds, their bulbous heads pulsing with bioluminescent thought patterns. Ethereal Lunari, their translucent, forms barely visible as they floated above their seats. Mechanical Nexus units, their optical sensors whirring as they calibrated for optimal performance. And one human. Marcus Chen had been an anomaly since his arrival at the Academy 3 cycles ago. Where other species relied on collective consciousness, enhanced neural networks, or quantum computational matrices, the human operated with what seemed like primitive biological hardware. Yet somehow, he consistently placed in the top percentile of every assessment. Students, Professor Zekthara's voice resonated through the chamber's translation matrix. Before you lies your final examination. This Zeridian puzzle box has confounded scholars for millennia. The being who first constructed it claimed it contained the key to understanding the fundamental nature of problem-solving itself. The boxes were identical across all 23 stations. Sleek metallic cubes roughly the size of a human head, their surfaces covered in intricate geometric patterns that seemed to shift when viewed peripherally. No visible seams or openings marked their construction. You have exactly 4 standard hours, the professor continued. You may use any non-destructive method at your disposal. The examination begins now. Marcus picked up his box and turned it over in his hands while walking to his seat. His fingers traced the patterns, feeling for variations in texture or temperature. Most of his classmates had already settled into meditation poses or activated specialized scanning equipment. 3 steps from his chair, something clicked. The human paused, tilted the box slightly, and pressed a specific sequence of points along one edge. With a soft hiss, the top section rotated and lifted away, revealing a complex internal mechanism that glowed with soft blue light. The examination chamber fell silent, except for the hum of various technological devices. Every sensor, eye, and optical array turned toward the human who was still standing, puzzle box open in his hands 3 feet away from his assigned seat. Professor Zekthara's prismatic skin flickered through several color phases, the Altarian equivalent of stuttering. In 3,000 years of administering this examination, no student had ever opened a Zeridian puzzle box in less than 30 minutes. The record holder, a Nexus unit with quantum processing capabilities, had required 47 minutes of intensive analysis. This human had done it in 12 seconds. Impossible, whispered a Vorthak student, its head bulb flashing. Erratic patterns. The computational requirements alone. I didn't compute anything, Marcus said, settling into his chair and examining the box's revealed interior. I just felt around. These patterns aren't random, they're musical. See how they repeat. In variations, it's like a symphony written in metal and crystal. He pointed to specific sections of the box's surface. This part here sounds like the opening theme when you tap it. Well, feels like it sounds anyway. And this sequence builds on that theme, creates harmony. The solution isn't mathematical, it's artistic. You don't calculate your way through a song. You feel the rhythm and follow the melody. A Lunari student drifted closer, its ethereal form shimmering with confusion. But the quantum mechanical principles, the molecular lock systems, surely they require precise measurements? Marcus shrugged. Maybe, but whoever built this was showing off. They made it look impossibly complex because they could, not because they had to. The actual mechanism is elegant, simple, like leaving your front door unlocked because you hid the handle so well that only someone who wasn't looking for a handle would find it. Professor Zekthera approached Marcus's station, her crystalline features refracting light in patterns that indicated deep thought. Mr. Chen, would you mind explaining your methodology in more detail? For the benefit of your classmates? There wasn't really a methodology, Marcus admitted. I mean, I could probably break down what I did, but it would be like explaining how to recognize your friend's laugh in a crowded room. You don't analyze the frequency patterns and vocal harmonics. You just know it's them. A nexus unit's optical, sensors focused intently on the human. This suggests your species processes pattern recognition through non-linear intuitive algorithms rather than systematic analysis. I guess. Marcus peered into the open puzzle box, where geometric shapes were rearranging themselves in slow, hypnotic patterns. Honestly, I think we're just really good at seeing things that are almost hidden. We evolved as hunters, right? Had to spot prey that didn't want to be spotted, recognize danger that was trying to camouflage itself. Maybe that's why this seemed obvious to me. It's trying too hard to be mysterious. Professor Zekthera's skin cycled through a rainbow of contemplative hues. Throughout her career, she had observed students from species that could process terabytes of data per nanosecond, beings that existed partially in higher dimensions, artificial intelligences that operated on principles beyond organic comprehension. None of them had recognized that the puzzle box's true challenge wasn't complexity. It was the assumption of complexity. Mr. Chen, she said finally, what do you see inside the box now? Marcus looked down at the gently shifting patterns within the device's core. It's asking another question. Something about perspective? The shapes keep changing depending on how I look at them. I think it wants to know how many different ways I can see the same thing. As he spoke, the patterns began to stabilize, forming new configurations that sparked with inner light. The other students watched in fascination as the human's casual observations seemed to guide the device toward some deeper revelation. You know, Marcus said thoughtfully, I think the real puzzle isn't the box itself. It's figuring out why someone would create something this elaborate just to ask such simple questions. What were they really trying to teach? The box pulsed once, brilliantly, and went still. In its center, a small crystal had formed, containing what looked like swirling galaxies. Professor Zekthera stared at the crystal, then at the human who had created it simply by refusing to overthink the process. Perhaps, she thought, there was more than one kind of intelligence in the universe after all.